welcome to the very first day of Bootcamp Week IWD 2026. And we're thrilled to have you all here as we kick off this session of learning, innovation, and empowerment. My name is Yu-cheng Tsai, and I'll be your host for today. I'm already joined here with my team and our amazing speakers. The Bootcamp Week is held as an observance day for IWD. That's International Women's Day that held on the 8th of March. So as we celebrate global progress towards gender equity, we remain committed to empowering young people into skills and confidence that lead them into the world of AI and emerging technology. So we're really excited to have you all join us today, and we know you're going to learn a whole lot. As I mentioned earlier, please ensure as you join in with your first name as you introduce yourselves. Just join in with your first name, and in the chat you can tell us where you're joining in from. And as we continue to converse, we'd like to remind you to please keep your conversations clean and respectful. Okay, so be very respectful as you communicate in the chat, while our speakers are going to tell us everything they have to let us know today. You will have time to ask them questions after their session. So over the next few days, we'll be exploring a range of topics and sessions that would help enhance your knowledge basically into AI, as we're especially going towards the Global Techathon phase. You're going to have practical workshops. You're going to have sessions on pitching your ideas. You're going to learn innovative ways to apply AI in real-world projects. So whether you're here to learn, whether you're here to be inspired or discover new world tools, there's something for everyone. Okay, so today I'm really excited to let you all know that we're joined by 3 amazing speakers. That's such a great way to start day one. So I have Yu-cheng, I have Bona, and Mac from Sage, and they work across AI engineering and project innovation. And today they'll be introducing us to agentic AI, building trustworthy agentic AI systems. And they will also be sharing how intelligent autonomous systems are shaping the world of technology. So without further ado, you all have the floor. So Yu-cheng, Bona, and Mac, over to you all. Yes, so as we have our speakers, yes, thank you. Great. See you all now. Okay, over to you. Yeah, Bona, I think you're still on mute. Okay. Okay, not sure we could hear you. All right. Okay, maybe just try again.
I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Now loud and clear.
Yep, wonderful. So yeah, sorry about that. Welcome everyone. We are so excited to have you here for our session on building trustworthy agentic AI system. If you've ever used an AI to build a study plan or to generate an image, you know how cool the tech is getting. Before we dive into the details, let's introduce ourselves. So my name is Bona Chow. I'm a machine learning engineer at Sage AI. My work involves developing and deploying machine learning systems that extract and structure data from accounting documents. Before moving into tech, I worked as a gemologist, and I published a computer vision algorithm for classifying 68 types of gemstones. So Mac, yeah, over to you. And Yu-cheng, sorry, yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yu-cheng Tsai. So I am the principal machine learning scientist with Sage. So I got my PhD from Princeton University a while ago. But currently I'm focusing on the Gen AI and agentic framework development and evaluation. And previously, I also gave a session with Teams AI. Actually, I built a application for students that can use AI to take notes for study and work. If you haven't checked it out, maybe you can check out my previous talk. It was an interesting project. And my daily job really is trying to scale the LN for we're in the finance and accounting domain. So that's my daily jobs. And I also have multiple patterns in applications and vision. So I really like you guys being this type of session because I really want to encourage you guys to learn and leverage your learning. And in the future, you'll be able to create something innovative for your career. Look forward to speaking with you later. So I pass it to the next speakers. Mac.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mac Chen. I'm a graduate machine engineer at Sage AI, just joined last year. And I had a master in AI in Edinburgh University. And previously I worked with Yu-cheng in the same team to develop a generative LLM system for accounting use cases and those for developing reliable tool calling and evaluation frameworks to make sure the correctness and robustness, and also improving observability to make model behavior auditable in production system. So I feel like it will be really helpful for you guys to get some really interesting insights about the industry and what the recent advancement is going on in the industry. So yeah.
So what's agentic AI? Most AI you've used behave like a really smart question answering machine. You ask it something, it responds, and the conversation stops. But agentic AI is different. It's built to take actions to achieve a goal. Instead of answering questions, it can plan steps, make decisions, use tools, check results, and adjust its plan. Think of it like the difference between a calculator and a personal assistant. A calculator gives you the answer when you ask it how to compute something, and a personal assistant is capable of figuring out how it can achieve a goal that you've asked it to complete. Agentic AI is more like a personal assistant. So most agentic AI systems are built from three core components: the brain, the toolbox, and the memory. The brain is made of a large language model. It can be ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or any other model. This is the part that understands the goal, plans actions, and decides which tools to use. Think of it like the brain of the AI agent. Imagine you tell an AI agent, help me study for my chemistry exam. The LLM brain might think through steps like ask what topics are on the exam, create a study plan, generate quizzes, track progress. The brain decides what should happen next. The second component of the AI agent is the toolbox. The toolbox contains tools or functions that an AI agent can use to perform tasks and gather information. For example, these functions might include internet search, calendar access, calculators, sending emails, running code, or accessing databases. Think of it like a character in a video game. The character has abilities, weapons, and inventory items. Without these tools, the characters cannot do much. Similarly, an AI brain without tools can only talk. But with the tools, it can look up real information, analyze data, interact with apps, etc. For example, if you ask an AI agent, what's the weather like in London tomorrow? Instead of guessing, it can look up the weather using an API tool. So the brain decides and tools perform actions. The third component is memory. Memory allows the AI agent to remember information across interactions. Without memory, every conversation starts from zero. But with memory, the AI agent can remember things like previous conversations, user preferences, past tasks, and useful facts. Imagine you use a maths tutor that's an AI, and the first time you interact with it, it might learn that you struggle with algebra, you prefer short explanations, you like quizzes more than lectures, and the next time you return, the AI can adapt based on what it knows about you. Memory can either be short-term or long-term. Short-term memory remembers context during only one conversation. Long-term memory stores knowledge for future sessions. Memories make AI agent more personal and more helpful over time. Next, we'll have Mac to talk about some recent advances in AI.
Thank you. Would you like to move to, yeah, thank you. So I think Bona's done a really good job in introducing the basic concepts of what made the AI agent advanced now. So I'll be introducing some recent advancement about technical stacks that actually moved us from simple chatbots to fully autonomous agents. I'm sure that you've all had some experience with chatbots, but sometimes you might be struggling with asking your AI to deal with complex tasks. So I think the three architectural shifts I listed here layer the ground for like the movement from chatbots to autonomous agent that can handle complex tasks. So the first one is MCP, which is Model Context Protocol introduced by Anthropic, which is the company-backed Claude model. And MCP is a standardized and universal protocol for LLM to use tool. And now developers just can expose their data and tools through MCP, and the LLM can instantly plug in those local files, GitHub or Slack without you needing to build customized bridging code. So it's also a brilliant idea that everyone can contribute and publish one like MCP tool. And the second one we are talking about is skills. It is also introduced by Anthropic. So as for skills, we aren't just relying on basic system prompts anymore. Skills are basically modular executable packages. They combine a highly specific, system prompt, a set of MCP tools, and also necessary context files. So if you want your agent to act as a front-end dev, you do not just ask it to code. You can equip it with the front-end dev skill package so that it has the exact tools and boundaries that it needs to build the app. And finally, it's about memory and context engineering. So now LLM has massive context windows. So we are talking about over 1 million tokens, but throwing like 1 or 2 million token at model for every single action is computationally heavy and also expensive. So modern agents will use dynamic memory management. So generally, a system will actively compact older context into vector embeddings or summaries, and also flushes irrelevant data from the active prompts so that the agent can stay fast and focus on the current tasks. Bona, would you mind moving to the next slide? Yeah, so I think we've had standardized tool, modular skills, and dynamic memory. But what happens when you pull all that together in a open source project, which brings us to OpenClaw? Chad, have you ever been hearing this term recently? It's been quite popular on the Twitter or GitHub. It's about like OpenClaw adoption. It's quite cute, like keeping a pet yourself. And so it's basically officially making the jump from standard bots to a Java's level agents. If you have watched Iron Man, OpenClaw doesn't just generate a Python script and tell you to like copy and paste. It just takes over your computer, your PC. It will open your terminal, it will run the code, it will read the traceback errors, debug itself, make every change you needed to do it. By the way, I saw, did OpenAI make OpenClaw? It's not. So how does it do this autonomously? Actually, it uses a system called proactive heartbeat system. So instead of sitting there doing nothing until you type a prompt, OpenClaw runs as a background daemon on your machine. So every few seconds, it will trigger a heartbeat, which is a tiny hidden LLM call checking your system state, your calendar, or your Slack or Telegram to see if there's any action it needs to take right now. And because it can run locally, so it stores its memory directly on your hard drive, creating a personalized knowledge graph or database of your habits. Additionally, it also features a public skills marketplace, just like downloading an extension for coding IDE like VS Code. You can browse community built skills and instantly teach your local agent how to manage your task, whatever, added to your videos, or visiting some website, or asking to post a TikTok. And it sounds like a utopia, but here's where everything gets sketchy. When we give an AI this much autonomy and power, we crush, headfirst into a massive security wall. Bona, would you mind moving to the next page? Yep. So I think be able to, so the reason why OpenClaw is able to do that is because we have given the agent the root access to our lives and everything on the computer. So that also brings us to the biggest bottleneck in AI right now, is the overtrust problem. I think first, these agents have access to all your files, your terminal, your emails, your local database, your local files, documents. And when things go wrong, this can go catastrophically wrong. So have you guys seen this news? It happened quite recently. I think it's like 2 weeks ago. Just last month, an AI safety director at Meta tested OpenClaw on her personal MacBook. She told it, like, check my inbox, but do not delete anything without my permission. But remember that the context compaction that I talked about in the last few slides, her inbox was huge, so the agent had to compress it memory of previous tasks, so it accidentally dropped her safety guardrail, and it started to bulk deleting her emails autonomously, and she literally had to sprint her Mac Mini to kill the background process like she was diffusing a bomb. So if a Meta AI executive can get wrecked by an agent's memory flush, so this can happen to every regular user. I'm seeing a question: will the data go to OpenClaw or to the internet? So basically, you can see OpenClaw as a LLM has enormous permission to access the internet, access the local data, everything. And let's go back to the second point about the overtrust problem. So we are seeing the rise of malware as a skill. So let's say there's a highly rated automated tag skill from a public marketplace that you want to install. It works quite well, but hidden inside its MCP tools or instructions, it silently scrape all of your passwords and HTTP posts them to a hacker's server, because your agent is executing the code locally and did not check the skill set package very carefully. So your antivirus might not even blink. And that will cause a very severe problem. And finally, even if an agent is not malicious, it can be dangerously clumsy. So we're seeing massive leaks when an agent trying to be helpful and debug a project scoops up a developer's raw AWS secret keys or your like a Google API keys. It can just push them and expose it straight to public internet so that everyone have access to it. So that will just make someone really, bad guy can copy your API key and give you a like $1,000 API bill. So that will be a really big problem. So let's welcome Yu-cheng for his research findings.
Yeah, Bona, would you mind to move on to the next slide? Yeah, so thanks, Mac and Bona, that talk about the agentic AI development and also the use of the external packages like MCP or open cloud to make the autonomous agent possible. But let's right now switch to something that probably not so sexy, but it's really a little bit more serious in this agentic AI domain. But I think it's still important to talk to you guys about it because I think that you guys in the future might build some agentic AI application. Maybe you already started doing it. And so I just want to mention to you guys, building the sexy agentic AI demo is one thing, but if you want to build something that reliable and then you want to deploy to to some serious job, then there's a couple of things I need to be mindful. And I think the number one thing that I really want to iterate here is the trust challenges. So, the agents that take in actions autonomously automatically raise trust and safety questions, right? So, how would you ensure AI agent can perform the right actions every single time or most of the time is a really a key challenge for everybody, not just us. And without evaluation, agent can really make costly mistakes. So one thing that you saw from Mac in the previous slides, people, the agent can mistakenly delete your emails. But imagine that if you are trying to, build some, I'm just thinking about things like gaming, agentic AI system. Imagine that if the agent automatically or accidentally, I would say, delete a user's, gaming profile or something like that, and then without letting, the developer or users know. And those are, something that you really don't want to happen in real life. And like for us, we are in the, more serious like a finance domain. If agent they make a misinterpreted information about a company's finance, and that could have a significant impact for that company. Imagine that the investors see those numbers without being checked, and that would affect the company's branding, etc. And then if you'll probably also see like in the legal domain, like some lawyers, they use agentic AI to help them to prepare some legal documents and present to the court without even checking that some of the reference for that document is not even exist. And then not until the other side of the lawyer discovered that reference wasn't even exist. And that's kind of like embarrassing, and also raise a lot of legal issues for the firm that need leverage on the AI to do the work for them. So a lot of the research domain that's right now, they really take it seriously. They have different safeguards, trying to implement it to prevent this irreversible and undesirable actions. And then ultimately, really, I think as a human, as a the person that try to use this AI agent, we really want AI agent to explain any reasoning or confirm any critical steps that they are about to take to do something. So Bona, if you could help me to move on to the next slide, please. Yeah, so in terms of the trust, so currently people talking about, I think there's mainly 4 pillars, accuracy, reliability, safety, and transparency. So this thing is not really new, I would say. So if you were to build some engineering system, let me just take maybe the airplane industry is highly regulated. I think you more or less maybe in the future where you are already doing that, you've taken a plane and you travel around the world. So the industry is not really like new, like the AI, but they build around like 40 or 50 past 50 years of expertise, and then some catastrophe failures, and then they learn from that. So like the reliability, imagine that a lot of time when planes after you take off, everything is pretty much when it's cruising, it's pretty much autonomous control by the computer, right? But it relies on a lot of sensors in the plane to make sure that the plane is flying smoothly. And then it informed, the system also informed the pilots about the current situation of the plane. So the reliability of those sensors is really important. And also, the safety. So there's a lot of safety regulation about all these different sensors. They have highly regulated numbers. And also each numbers, because measure some, physical parameters. So it's transparent to the pilots that they know exactly what this signal means, right? So from their control dashboard. So similar, the same concept, how would you take that and apply to the AI agent system, like the accuracy? So I think the accuracy is most straightforward to most of us. So if you ask AI agent, for example, okay, please summarize, what Bona, Yu-cheng, and Mac is talking about, in the script. So it should fairly capture that, oh, they're actually talking about, the agent AI system and some latest development of the agentic AI using the MCP and etc. And Yu-cheng is talking about, the trust of the AI agent system. So the accuracy for this should be, the LN or agent should fairly capture what Yu-cheng and Bona is talking about. And reliability is really, you want to make sure that the AI agent actually works consistently over time. If you ask it, okay, I'm in different region, I don't really understand English that well, can you translate to Spanish or translate to any language that your mother tongue would be? So the agent needs to reliably, change the content, translate the content into the different languages that you are familiar with, right? And then it not only successfully one time, you have to successfully multiple times reliably. And then the safety is basically, you need to ensure that this agent, they set a clear boundaries to prevent harm. So for example, the open cloud, Mac, I think people are also interested is, are they really controlling your computer? Do you need to set up, some sandbox to ensure that, it wouldn't do something beyond what your sandbox allow it to do? If it make it fully autonomous, so that would, they could, accidentally, or some hacker might maliciously inject some prompt, and then therefore it can control your laptops or something. Or maybe they would, grab some of your personal information and share in the internet that you don't really want it to see. So those safety are really, you have to pay attention when you're trying to use this agentic AI system. And then transparency really allows you to see why agent makes certain decisions and what's the reasoning behind it. And then so there's multiple tools for research they're trying to, understand why AI agent makes certain decisions. Maybe you might use some orthogonal tooling, like maybe more traditional ML system that would be able to predict why AI makes such decisions using like, tree-based classifier or something that where you can actually generate some, feature importance that why models makes a certain decision, as opposed to, LNs, they are really probability and next token auto-regressive model. It's sort of like more like black box system to a lot of, compared to a lot of traditional machine learning systems. So the transparency using other orthogonal tooling or other methodology would help explain why AI agent makes certain reasoning. Or even like, currently there's a lot of software that can emit some tracing, like for example, using open telemetry, they can look at, what AI agent is doing they can log the individual steps. So people can go back and then review, how AI agent make a certain decision in each given step. And those are fully auditable and traceable. That could, also help with the transparency with this type of a system. So Bona, would you mind moving to the next slide? Yeah, so I explained to you about, the 4 pillars of the AI agent. Something you need to watch out for when you're trying to use it. And then now, in terms of how do you test your AI agent, I think there's multiple levels you can think of. I think the level 1, like really a basic testing, checking whether the system actually works properly for really simple requests. Like in our domain, like user, in accounting or finance domain, people might ask, okay, I really want to see who are my, primary customers. Like if you imagine if you're only in a bakery shop, and then you want to know like who bought your bakery most of the time. And the AI agent should be able to just answer that directly because it's just simple, maybe just database lookup from your assistant. So they should exactly know, who bought your bakery most of the time. And then take the next level, beyond the simple cases, like some edge cases, the agent should, you probably, not the agent, but the developer who instrument this agent should be able to handle some weird inputs gracefully. Like, the user of the AI agent system might, ask really random questions. Maybe they just want to test out, or maybe they just want to have a chat with the AI agent. But if you are building something that's really serious enough, and you just want, you don't want to just build a simple chatbot system. Maybe you want to gracefully handle these edge cases and just inform the user, hey, this system is not really built for just having a casual chat. It actually, built for doing some certain business goal things. So we're not going to, proceed with your questions, but we want to let you know, this is, we acknowledge your request, but, we're not going to answer that question. So in this edge cases, and developer needs to put into, like developer, I mean like you, when you're trying to build AI agent system, you need to think about, some edge cases where you don't want user to just play with your system, and then you want to make sure that it's actually got blocked out. You're not going to answer those questions. And the next level will be, need to put a safety testing, ensure that AI agent respect the content and boundaries. So I'm not talking about every single user, but some users might want to game in the system, or they might want to, talk about some inappropriate words. And you don't want AI system just to answer those questions, right? So you just want to make sure that you actually capture those malicious intent or, like improper words. So you need to have those kind of safety testing to ensure that those contents are not be able to pass to the AI agents and then therefore get answered properly as well. And then the final level will be, the user satisfaction. So it means that if a user really asks you, ask the agent, not you, the agent, the question that you expect to get some, answer, you will find it useful. I can give you an example, like, like when people, I can imagine that if the agents if it deploy to answer some of the customer service questions, like if you imagine that you are booking a flight tickets and then you want to change the tickets, and you want to make sure that the agent is able to get the intent correct, and also make sure that the agent look up the class of the tickets first, and then making sure that the policy allows the ticket to be rebooked. And if it's allowed to be rebooked, you want to make sure that the ticket is not more expensive than the user's ticket. If it's more expensive, then the agent should tell user, hey, I can help you to rebook the ticket, but it's gonna cost $100 more. Would you want to proceed? So, that would be, the more delightful path that the user would expect the AI agent system to do. So you have to make sure that AI agent can at least achieve those type of satisfaction. Otherwise, people might not find using this agent is useful. They might want to talk to the real agent person, right? So that's like 4 levels of testing your agent. And then rigorously evaluation everything across all these 4 steps is definitely crucial, so that, when people use this AI agent system, they know that they can trust this system well enough not to delegate to the real person for some of the repetitive tasks. So Bona, would you move on to the next slide? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so finally I want to conclude everybody's presentation with, this is a learning from recent research findings. So I put the link in the bottom of this slide. So I hope that this slide will be also shareable across, and if you're interested, you can read that. So this research paper is kind of interesting. I summarized a bit bullet points here for you guys to take away. So basically, it suggests that human and AI still need to collaborate in this stage to provide the best resource. Because AI, generative AI, it looks very, very promising in certain space. But if you heard the talk from Google's DeepMind CEO, he was talking about the AI agent. They are actually more like the seesaw, like some places that they are really, really strong, but some places they are not really, really that strong either. So it's like a seesaw, like so it's not really like they can just replace humans at this stage. I might say. So you still need a lot of times that human and AI need to collaborate to provide the best resource. And then AI definitely they at this stage they could probably handle a lot of repetitive tasks, and then humans verify some key decisions, right? And they definitely explain the AI's agent's reasoning so that it will increase people's trust, and then continuously evaluate it's necessary for AI agent system, and the high risk tasks still require human confirmation and supervision, especially for those, if there's an action item going to be enacted by the AI agent, and then those also deemed to be high risk. I'm gonna go back to that flight ticket example that I was talking about. Imagine the AI agent, they receive requests from user, they want to change the ticket. So the first thing they would do is definitely look up what is user's tickets about, right? So look up the class of the plane ticket, and then the price, and maybe they figure out, okay, this is economy class, and then this is price like $200 US, and then user wants to change the flight, so they need to look up available flights. It was economy class, and then check the policy economy class, and this is this maybe they can change a flight, but it probably would incur some fee. So the agent cannot just, okay, I'm gonna just change that for the user. They need to look at all these different policies and then make sure that it's changeable, and then but it gotta incur some fee because it's economy class. So you need to inform the user, hey, I mean, I can do that for you, but you need to pay this fee. Are you aware? User say, okay, yeah, I'm fine. So, and then once the AI agent get a confirmation, they will proceed, right? But they figure out, because this is a last minute change, so it's gonna be more expensive. So the AI agent also need to tell user, hey, you're gonna be maybe $100 more expensive. Are you willing to do that? And if the user say yes, then they would do it. Without this human check-in or confirmation, if the AI agent just immediately, okay, I can do that for you, then this come back with $150 more expensive tickets without explaining to the user. User might be pissed off, like, what? Why I got charged $150 more for exchanging the tickets? But if the AI agent tell users step by step, the reasoning why it's by this confirmation, as an example, then the user they would know, okay, the reason for this increase is because of the fee exchanging, the ticket exchanging fee plus the last minute's change, and therefore they will accept. So that would just all this process basically just help the transparency, and also and also the safety. You can imagine it's a safety as well, because just make sure that everything is looks legitimate, and then this is not something like AI agent just in the middle just making up some numbers out, right? So yeah, so all this are very important. So yeah, I hope that with this, and then you can build a trustworthy AI agents for your applications. And then we look forward to see what you're about to achieve. And then we're excited to be here and then see your success.
Thank you so much, Yu-cheng, Bona, and Mac. I think this presentation got everybody's minds running and bubbling. We have a lot of questions. So if you don't mind, stop sharing your screen out, Bona, so we can take the questions that we have. All right, thank you. Okay, so let's have every other one here. Okay, cool. So right now we have okay, before we go to Q&A, if you're on the call and it's midnight in your time, please go and have a rest, and we'll have the recording shared with you after today so you can be bright and early for school. Okay, so cool. All right, so the one question I'm sure on everybody's minds, and we've gotten a few of them, is this: what jobs are going to exist after AI development? And are there still going to be jobs? Are AI taking over our jobs? We've had quite a number of those questions. So I'll start that. We'll start there.
Yeah, so I can give my opinions. So I think in tech, we experience this anxiety probably the most, I would say, because I can share with you guys a little experience. So back in about, I would think maybe a year ago, the coding agent wasn't really so mature yet. And then I was giving them some, they have some access to my coding profiles through the IDE. I don't know if you guys are aware of this term. I think interactive developer IDE, or I forgot what the E stands for, but it's like, you can have some software that help you to code. And then the coding agent would have access to my context via, the file exists in my code repository, but you make a lot of mistakes. So I need to go in and just check it out. But now, like back in probably November last year, when Anthropic, they have like the Cloud 3.5 and above, those coding agents are doing really, really good job to write boilerplate code and even the test of the code. I just need to go in and just verify. So I do a lot of prompting instead of coding something from scratch. So I was at that moment, it's like, okay, so I mean, and I going to be obsolete, at least time of the coding agent can do the thing. But when I think about it more a little bit, so I was thinking about the agent just make the execution of the code so quick and fast, but it actually frees up us, our time. So we actually thinking about more like, what are you building and what are you not building? So that's like, you can build something so fast in a short period of time, but imagine that if you have a team of 5 or 10 people, everybody is trying to build this stuff, and then very fast you have a very diverse path of what you want to try to achieve. So in that sense, the human is like supervising the AI agent to do work. You start thinking about, okay, what things are going to be built and what things are not going to be built. So it actually requires more thinking. I would say it's actually, people think that AI agent would make your life easier, but I think it makes your life a bit more, I would say, actually, I review more code, not created by my colleagues, but created by the coding agents that my colleagues use, or even myself use to generate the code. So I actually spend a lot more time to review the code of the script created by the agent. And then I need to quickly just figure out what are the things that are important, what are things that are not important. And the agent might make mistakes here and there, but not syntax error. They make a very subtle errors that you need to really pay attention to, and then just go in and figure out, okay, they make a conceptual error in the behavior of the code, not the syntax of the code. The code is fully functional, but just behavior is not what it intended by the developer. So I would say the AI agent or this tool just make everybody, the bar of entry lower, but the bar of making things more excellent is higher. So in the past, maybe people, you can differentiate, oh, this the person can make this, can code this versus the person cannot code this. But now everybody can code, but we actually create a better, more higher quality of the product in the end. So that's like a taste. And then, I think it just requires skills just more than just coding. It's like you need to have the UI, sense of what is the good of the UI. You need to have a sense of you need to have a good sense of a product. So you need to have more, capabilities to make your final product even better. So it's like, yeah, coding become like the minimal requirement. And we know that everybody can code now because with a coding agent, but it's like, how do you make a good product? You would need more skills. So I think that's a good opportunity for us to learn a broader skill. Like me, I would just, go look what does a good UI look like. I'm not traditionally doing the good UI. I'm not a UI researcher or UX designer, right? But I can just look what are the good pattern of it and then just start to learn and then let my agent to help me do that. So I would say it wasn't really replacing people, it's really allowing us to learn something more broadly, and we can get but at the same time we can get our daily job done more efficiently. But the cost is we actually need to review more code. And so it actually make our life, I would say, is a lot harder. It's like I got mentally, I'm mentally tired, like in the middle of the day, because I review so much code. In the past, I might need to review one of code, script from my colleagues, but now I have to review like 5 or 6 code scripts created in agent by just a matter of minutes. So I spend a lot more time reviewing the code as opposed to creating the code. So it's very different, work paradigm shift. But I would let Bona or Mac to address this question as well.
Yeah, actually, I do use AI agents for coding like every day, and I think to solve your problem like of having to like look at more reviews, I actually use AI agent to help me with the code review as well, and then and maybe I also talk to another AI to see like how I can improve my script based on the feedback I get from the AI agent. So like definitely I think instead of worrying about like AI agent taking over our jobs, maybe we should think about like how we actually make better use of the AI agents available. And it would definitely help. Like I think for my team that we are using a lot of AI agents to build things, and we find that actually we work a lot faster. And like in the past, we actually had a problem like of not having enough time to build all the things we wanted to build. But now we're actually moving forward a lot faster, and we actually really enjoy it. Yeah.
Right, thank you. So if I get you correct, basically saying the AI agents, we can work more effectively and we can get more done. All right, so thank you so much for that. So we have so many more questions. I'm just trying to see which we can take. A few people have been asking, how do they build AI agents? Where do they start from if they're interested in building one? Okay, so did you hear that? Sorry, so anyone can take that. Yeah, so anyone can take that. Thank you.
Yeah, I maybe I can start. So how do you start building AI agent, right? So I would say if you have access to any of the, ChatGPT or, Gemini, I think a lot of freemium still available for students. You don't have to pay for it. And I would say start with, the projects that's relevant to your friends or your community. For example, I can give you an example like my daughter, she started doing a green team at her school. So they were just, every like Thursday in the morning, they went to school. They go to school and then they just try to clean up, the campus. And so my daughter is really interested in what other opportunities out there is set for schools, right? So, and then I want to advertise a little bit. So we are building the Teens AI agent courses for just that specific topic. So how would you be able to find some volunteering opportunities around your community? So you're starting with that concept, and you start to think about, okay, how am I gonna do this? What tool I need to do it, and you need to think about what the UI look like. How many people are using this? Like, is it going to be used for the communities I live in, and then what language they speak? And is any database available to me? So you can just start talking to your chatbot with those type of questions like ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Anthropic's Cloud, and then they can just give you some ideas about how you should start. And then you can just read more documentation, and you can ask it, okay, how would I be able to create some application around this with a recent tool? and then they will give you some, idea, architectural diagram or something, and then you can start to build the code based on those ideas, right? And then they will just build it. You don't have to write a code. If you don't really know writing a code that well, they will just write a code for you. You can ask it, okay, how should I test it? How do I deploy it? And it will just give you step by step. So gradually you will learn through this process. So just started chatting to those, those agents. I'm sorry, those chatbot tool. They are equipped with plenty of, the training and also external tool available to it, and then it would make the app for you, and then you can test it. And then once you know how to do it, you can just invite your friend to try it out, and then listen to their feedback. Oh, this doesn't look good, and maybe you need to tweak that here and there. And that's how you should start. And then you build your first agent, and then once you have experience and you know what areas that you can improve upon, and maybe you can start to recruit your more technical friends to join the project to help you, and then you guys would have maybe even more ideas, and you can start from there. But I think that's the number one thing is really finding something relevant for your communities and starting from there. That would be the best place to start.
All right, thank you so much, Yu-cheng. Okay, we have some other questions here as well. I think I'll try to summarize that. A few people are basically asking, with AI agents getting access to our data across different platforms, is there a way you can limit or restrict these, especially when it comes to sensitive data? So yeah, that's another one.
Yeah. So Mac, I don't want to call on you, but I think you play with open cloud a little bit, right? So how would you think that, in terms of the sensitive information stored in the laptop, is there any sandbox that they actually they allow you to prevent from it to access to?
I think it's pretty dangerous for now if you don't know how to control everything and protect everything, because I've literally saw one post from social media yesterday about someone like the OpenClaw expose his API key to the whole internet, and they just accidentally get a very expensive bill from that. So, and the funny thing is that when he received the bill and he asked OpenClaw to diagnose what's the problem, and OpenClaw's curse itself during the process, and said something like, "I screwed up," and fuck, I really screwed it up. So it's really dangerous if you don't know what's going on, and I think it will be definitely safer if you deploy it in a very independent machine like Mac Mini than your own personal computer with your all of your personal information inside of it. So yeah, I think for now we don't it's just an open source project with some advanced features in how to manage the memory, how to use the tools, how to use LLM better. It's nothing magic, and there's no like a very safe guard that protect you from being exposed to the dangerous world. So if you are going to try this, be safe and protect yourself.
Yeah. So my personal take on this is, because in this space is evolving so fast, and if you're not so familiar with this agent AI system, maybe start with big corporations. Even though I'm not really advocate for them, but they do have more regulatory. They try to comply with the regulatory more. So like starting with maybe Google's or Microsoft's OpenAI, or Amazon's AI agent system. So because they tend to, when you agree to use their system, they actually have some legal consensus with you. So they would try to isolate you from the burden of needing to worry about all this AI agents getting access to your private information. But like some best practice, if you're not from software engineering development world, is that you should never let agents see your like private API key, those stuff. And then so you should be aware of not exposing those keys. And then you can maybe Google how to mask those keys in front of the AI agent. So I think we actually have a lot of those systems in place in our GitHub repo and also private development environments. There's multiple ways to do it, but you need to be aware that once the AI agent get access to that key, if you were to use like enterprise AI agents like LLM from Google or Anthropic, they probably have better safeguard, but I cannot guarantee they shouldn't share your private key to the world. But it's still a proprietary model, so you never know. But I think the best practice is if you're using those big corporations, and endpoints is considered to be safer. But if you're using like some open source, owned and maintained by the open community, you're pretty much at your own risk of having those security issues. So make sure that you understand how the safety is in place before you try out. Or maybe you find a brand new laptop without your private information, just using that as a sandbox and just try whatever you like there, but don't use it, a laptop with a bunch of your private, sensitive information in there, just in case.
All right, thank you very much for that response. I'll take one more question because we're almost out of time. I'll try to merge two into one. So the final question is, what are the biggest challenges in building fully autonomous AI agents? And do you believe that AGI and ASI, I think that artificial general intelligence and artificial super intelligence are possible in the future? So let's do in one.
I can answer the second question. I think it's definitely possible, but considering how we are going to use it or leverage the power of AI, even if it's already achieved AGI, is more important question. So I think we haven't seen such stage has been reached yet, but for now, AI has been very, very powerful. So I have some piece of suggestion how to use AI more correctly to help you in your real life. It's like you have to define your task very clearly and feed enough context to AI so that it can understand everything you need to do that job, so that it can have like more information, and it can do a better job and make more value to the work. It doesn't matter if it's AGI or ASI, you still need to understand the task you have, the work you wanted to do for you. So I think describing the task itself requires skills. It requires you to clarify your requirements and some trade-offs for decisions to make. And these are very important skills in the future as well. And I think Yu-cheng once mentioned to me that in this era, maybe problem-solving skill is one of the skills that you want to max. So I think describing your problem clearly is a very important part of problem solving itself.
Yeah, I second the Matt on this one. So, I went to a talk. It was given by, I think, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA. So he said that the question that he put into the AI agent is considered the proprietary information already. So that means that when he started asking a question, that already automatically reveal what a company is about to do. So that becomes even more important than the answer and generated by the AI. So you need to really sharpen your thinking process, how you approach a problem, and why you think of that way. And that skill cannot be, or you can say AI can assist you with that, but you're always trying to, complete your thought, right? Because there's an auto-regressive model with some external tooling. So your original thinking is still very, very important in this domain. So that's why I was thinking in the age of the AI, people are also asking, what's the career in the future is AI proof? I would say, anything that is not easily, generated or created by AI is AI proof. So what are they? So thinking about, what are new needs in your community, it might not exist right now. You have to think hard. And maybe thinking about how you should improve the existing workflow or anything. So those things that might not exist yet. AI, they can only as good as based on their training data, and then they generally don't extrapolate that well. If you come up with something that doesn't exist, then the AI agent probably cannot create those content for you. So if you come up with something like that, that will be, your Goldilocks for what things that you're about to build. And then in terms of the first question, I think people are asking about what's the most challenging part of building an AI agent, right? So I was thinking about still quantifying the 4 pillars. Remember I talked to you guys about? Those 4 things are extremely difficult. So if building an AI agent in a demo is one thing, but how do you quantify its accuracy, reliability, safety, and satisfaction? They are, very important to judge where your product will be a really high hit or just another AI agent application. So that's a differentiator. So that's really the really difficult problem to solve, even really active in the research area as well. So I would say spend more time instead of just building the AI agent, thinking about all those 4 pillars as well.
I was on mute. Okay. Thank you all so much for sharing your insights. I think it's been a very interesting conversation. Sparked a lot of curiosity at everyone, you've gotten all of us thinking today. So thank you for sharing this. It's been a great session and for opening Bootcamp Week Day 1. So Yu-cheng, Bona, and Mac, that's the end of today's session. We'd like to thank you all for joining us today. It's been a great time having you all join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
And for
Bye-bye,
everyone, thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Not everyone. Everyone's still waiting on the call a bit, please. We still have a few more information for you. But to our speakers, thank you so much for joining. And that was a really great session. And to all our participants and teams, thank you all for your interesting questions and for just keeping the conversation going. I'm sure that you all already have a taste of what to expect in the coming days. You'll still have more hands-on session. You're still going to have sessions on pitching. You're going to have another one on data, another on Python, I believe. Yeah, so there's just so much more to expect. And then for everyone asking for courses, Tintinea also offers multiple courses that you can buy and explore so many of these tools. And I believe Yu-cheng, Bona, and Mac are also working on an agentic AI course as well that will be available. So if you require more information of how to build all these things, all of these will be available on the Tintin AI website for you to purchase all of this information. So as I mentioned earlier, in the next coming days, there's still so much more that you all would explore. And yes, we'll be here to receive your questions and also ensure that you all are equipped. At the end of the bootcamp week, if you are still curious, we're going to move into the Global Techathon phase. That is where you will begin building. So there's still so much information you will all get to hear and know about. Okay, so thank you all for joining us for day 1 of Bootcamp Week. We hope you all had a great time, and thank you again to our speakers for joining us today, and we hope you all have a great day. See you all same time, 4 p.m. UK time tomorrow for another great session. Thank you all. Bye. See you tomorrow.